it's Shani today here. As promised, with the release of Sims 4 Cats and Dogs on console, I have got a Cats and Dogs video lined up for you this evening. It is a really short and quick and to the point video. I've also done this video a little bit differently in that this is just me talking over me doing a bunch of stuff, considering that I filmed me creating this animal last night and now filming face cam and stuff today. So let me know if you want to see more of these types of videos in the future. So obviously the Sims 4 Cats and Dogs is the newest expansion pack to the console universe. If you can see under my collection right now, I do have all existing game packs, expansion packs, stuff packs, as well as free stuff. So I want to say this is the most up-to-date I have kept a Sims game in a very long time. As they've been releasing, I have been trying to keep up to them. I do keep my eye out for sales and however, so sometimes there's a 50% off sale, 10% off sale, 45% off sale, so keep an eye out for that. If you aren't following me on Twitter, I do usually tweet these out when there are specials as well. But yeah, let's jump into it. So I am going to be loading into my tips and tricks save to not affect legacy whatsoever. Won't be jumping into any live mode with the De Silva household. However, I'm just going to be jumping into Create a Sim. This was pre-recorded, so I'm doing a voiceover afterwards. I'm not doing this as I speak to you. I'm speaking over my recording, just in case you're wondering why I know what I'm about to do before I'm about to do it. So yeah, this is me just looking around my little neighborhood. I don't get to play with this play as much as I'd like to, since it is only for tips and tricks. If you haven't seen any of those videos, I basically take you through how to do cheats on console, some improvements of life, and all of those kinds of things. So make sure you check out my tips and tricks playlist. It'll be up in the cards right now for your faces. But let's get into making this little add a pet. So obviously we can create a whole bunch of different pets, add from the library and play with generations. Yes, Shani. Play with genetics, but we are going to be adding a doggo to the Sims playthrough. So this was just a randomly generated animal that has been obviously generated into the Create a Sim. I also wanted to get rid of this sim and I couldn't figure out how, so I fiddle around a little bit, but I ended up just having to press Y when I go back to, there we go, delete sim, delete it, because I wanted all of the focus to obviously be on the dog. There was a lot of speculation online whether or not I should have created a dog or a cat. Considering that I've already created my cat an Instagram account, I decided I'm going to be recreating my dog Penny, who is a Dalmatian. As with all Sims games, or as with all Sims creations, you can choose the age. So there's obviously puppy, there'll be adult, which we had already seen, and then as well as elder, which is kind of the grayer, older, slower version of an adult. Not so much of a size difference, but you can see the noticeable differences. As also with the Sims, you can also change the pitch of bark, so voice. So whether you want sweet, tough, deep, or as well as fox, which you can create a fox for your little Sims as well. But I want mine to be clear, and my Dalmatian tends to have a relatively deep bark, so I decided to go the deep route and kind of leave it at that. Obviously you can pick traits and stuff to go with your sim, or to go with your pet. I need to get into the mindsets of creating pets rather than Sims, but we'll come back to that. For now, we looking at the new little options here. We can obviously choose different poses for the animal to be sitting in while we are in Create a Sim. I think it's quite cute, so you can get all of the angles and figure out exactly if this dog is to your design liking or not. You all notice that my cursor goes a little bit all over the place, not as used to playing on console as I'd like to be. So yeah, for now we are scrolling through all the breeds. There's so many different breeds to choose from. I really like that there's a bunch of different breeds and colorings for those breeds as well. So if you have a very traditional looking dog, you can select from a whole bunch of the ready-made breeds. Also, I feel like this is the best way to learn what the different breeds look like, but obviously I'm going to be creating a Dalmatian, so I'm going to be starting, instead of with a blank canvas, with a relatively complete canvas already. My dog is relatively traditional for a Dalmatian. it was just a case of figuring out how many spots I wanted to start off with before I go in with that very infamous paint tool. So my former Dalmatian that I used to have when I was growing up looked like this one, but my current Dalmatian Penny has very, very few spots and a lot of white space in between. So I thought this would be the perfect canvas to start off with and remove some of the spots on her face, which I'll get into in a little bit. But for now, let us time lapse into... This was a half-hour process that I've managed to cut down into, I want to say, 3 minutes worth of time-lapsing. So this is me just figuring out how to use the brushes. How to use the brushes is that you're going to select your brush, select your color, and then if you're on Xbox, you're going to press X. If you are on PlayStation, you're going to press square in order to go into the actual painting on. I also realized you can't erase the existing dots and paint that has been added on the dog, so you do just need to paint over those. That is why I try to use the eraser and then move over. What I also like is you can turn off and on mirroring. So if you don't want to do the same thing on both sides, you can just turn the mirror off. As you can see on the right hand side there, I keep turning it off and on. Penny's ears are relatively similar, and whoopsie, I had a little bit of an accident there, but Penny's ears are relatively similar. I do go in a little bit and edit the one side just a little bit more on the edge there. I know the breathing looks a bit strange, but this is sped up to about 4, 5, 6 times its speed. So this is just me adding a little bit of finer detail into the face and adding some spots along the neck. Like I said, if you want to get to bringing them from the menu into the brush to actually paint with on the animal itself, you are going to be pressing that X or square button, depending on whether you're Xbox or PlayStation. This is also quite cool. I didn't go into the stamps or patterning or anything, but to be able to change your brush sizes is also really, really neat and handy. You'll see eventually I do choose a pink coloring where you can change the opacity. So here's where the different angles will come into play. My dog has a little black toenail, so I decided to add some black to the ends of her paws. This isn't as close to life as I'd like to have gotten it, because if I had tried to get every single spot in place, that would have taken me much longer than an hour, and obviously didn't want this video to go on for too long. Here I'm busy trying to figure out, because my dog actually has a relatively pink stomach, I just wanted to add some of that detailing there, as well as she's got quite a little cute little pink butterfly area around her lips as well, next to where the black goes down. And what is also quite nice is you can change your eye color, which if you have a dog or cat with heterochromia, which is the 2 different color eyes, you can change that. Naturally, you can change the body mass and fitness as well, just as with the Sims. Add a little bit of a collar, and then you can also add different outfits for your animals, so every day as well as when they go on to walks. So I have just created an everyday look 1 and everyday look 2, because we actually do give our little doggo a jersey in winter since she gets cold. I felt the front chest sternum area was a little bit too big, so I also toned that down and created a little bit of a slimmer front. That is basically me having created the dog. And now it is coming into the personality. So obviously the different personality traits will depend on if you're creating dogs from life or if you're creating a dog that you feel will fit your Sims correctly. I am creating from real life, so I decided to make Penny jumpy, which she is. She's a lot of these things, but unfortunately you can only choose 2, so I've eventually decided to make her. Gotta love it when they make a poop on screen, right? That's dogs for you. Well, that's a troublemaker dog for you. So she is jumpy, she is a troublemaker, and she is loyal. Just remember that you do need to deselect the trait that you don't want if you want to remove it. I actually just thought that they would cycle through, but they don't. I was torn between making her friendly or loyal. I ended up going with loyal just because that's the kind of dog that she is. But, of course, you can have any kind of combination of these traits. I like that you can add different variations for different animals. I think it's really cool, especially if you give them something like an independent trait or an aggressive trait. Obviously, different strokes for different folks, different moods for different animals. And that is it. That is creating the doggo on the Sims 4 on console. If you want me to do a guide, 100% willing to do that. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. Just a final note that I do want to make is that with The Sims, you cannot just save this household as is. You do need to have a teen, young adult, or elder in the house as well, because a pet cannot care for themselves. It's the same as you cannot have a toddler on their own or a child on their own. So if you would like to see a guide, if you would like me to go in a little bit more detail and not just a time lapse, please let me know. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, any tips of your own that you would like to share with the rest of the community, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video, something a little bit different. I'm so excited to get into playing Sims 4 Cats and Dogs on console. Thank you so much to EA and to the team at Sims for getting this pack to us as quickly as they did, considering that it has just been released relatively recently. So yeah, that is going to be it from me, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, subscribe if you are new around here. Remember that we all human differently, and I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers!